That may be because on the check. Proceed with
Shall we begin?
yes.
Hello. Shall we start?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Very good morning to one and all. I'm Vigneshwaran. I'm working under Dr. Karthik Bala. Today we are going to see the lab protocols, what we will do once we collect the datum. This session will be around some, so now level 38, so it will be around some 45 minutes. So what we are going to see, the first session will be, I will show how we will collect the datum. So later, then how we are boiling the datum. So as Karthik Bala sir already mentioned, so there's some process to clean the datum, to see under the microscope to do the enumeration study. So that I will show how to do that lab procedures to clean the datum samples. Then later we will see our datum collections, and I will show the culturing room. Then after that, we will have a microscopy session, and I will show some very good items which we found from our Indian subcontinent. So so this will be like some kind of a some vague interactive session. So I am taking this from my mobile, so to move everywhere frequently. So now I will change my camera and I will show you that what and all the process. Um, if you have any questions in between, like feel free to ask me. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
So now, yeah. So this is what our lab. So we are in a lab room. So this is the cleaning room, so where I set things to show you guys. So here, so first you will see the datum sample once we collected how it will be. So this is what the datum sample once we collected from the lake or river, wherever the water body. So datums will be available in so many different microhabitat. It will be epilithic, epiphytic. So datum need something to attach. So they will grow always with some substrate like rock or plant or some animals. So or even datums are there in the wet wall also. So wherever water is leakaging, no, in our area, like near rocks and all, in waterfalls. So everywhere wherever moisture is there, so datum obviously they will be there. So this is how we will collect the sample. So this pack is called World Pack. So this is specifically made for the sample collection. So this is this three sample. So this is sediment sample. So these are the sample which we recently collected from the Tripura. This is sediment sample, and this one is epiphytic sample. So you can see the organic material inside. So how it is looking. So what we do know. So once we go to the lake or river, the the study area of our thing. So we'll go there. So I will say, for example, I will say some river side. So if you are going to some river side, in the benthic region, so datums mostly will be there in the photic region. So wherever light can penetrate and they can do the photosynthesis, so datum will be there. So there, if you go, most of the time we will be seeing that small rocks and a plant with a lot of organic material. In the green color algae, they will be growing there. So that kind of thing we will collect. We will take in a plate and we will scrap that with the toothbrush. If it is the plant material, we will put it in like some kind of plastic bag. Then later we will put some water, the river water only we will put, and we will squeeze it thoroughly. So later once we squeeze it, so we will just collect that organic matter from there. So this is how it will look once we collect the sample. So later we will be marking every sample, then we will keep it in the refrigerator condition for the culturing purposes. And so once we brought this sample, we will pick every individual item for culturing, or so that is one kind of study. And later we will do some morphological study, that and all the further process we will do. So this is some mass sample. So we just put it for the soaking, and this is some sediment. So as I said, diatoms are everywhere. So even in so people are studying the soil diatoms also. Some people are studying diatoms from the wet wall. Like even in our lab, one of my colleague is working on wet wall diatoms of Northeast India, and there is so many different kind of studies, lake study, river study. So it depends on the study. So if you are doing some paleoluminological study like sediment, some core sample, so this is from some cast plateau, I think. So this sample. So this sample, once we collect it after the core, we will put the acid, and we just kept it for the process. So this is how it will look once we collect. So the further process is, so later we collect the sample, we will put our that organic material in some beaker, some 250 ml beaker. Then we will just allow to settle that organic material downside. So if you see the organic material, whatever present in the sample, it was just the deposited below. So this deposition only we need for the further process. So the diatom is made up of silica, so they will be always settle in the down. So this is the thing. So later once we allow to settle, we will discard this water. Then we will go to the further process. The second process is the acid treatment. So as Karthik sir said, so we have to cook the diatom. So diatoms is made up of silica. So if you see diatom directly in the microscopy, once we collect it, you cannot see the every morphological character clearly. So there will be so much internal organelles are there. So diatoms also some kind of algae only, right? It's a microalgae. So inside the DNA, that there is some silica vesicle, then lipid, this thing. There is so many organelles are there. But our most of the study will be focused on the morphological study. So we are going to study the outer structure of the diatom. So diatom have some unique feature in the outside of that. So that we are going to see. So if there is some internal organelles, so for example, you just consider the human as human. So our skin, everything is made up of glass. So if somebody want to study us, so our internal organ, everything will be hiding that. So light cannot penetrate and go the backside. No, it will not be visible. So that is why we are cooking the diatom with acid. So most of the time we will use the nitric acid, some strong acid like H2SO4, hydrochloric acid, or for lesser treatment we will use some hydrogen peroxide, such kind of acid. So we will add the acid double amount of the sample. Then we will just allow it to boil sometime. So around some 45 minutes, 30 minutes in the temperature of 200 to 300 Celsius. So it will be boiled. So later, so if you see this both, you can see the difference. So this organic material will boil and boil. Then later it will react with acid, and it will become all the organic material will be evaporated as carbon dioxide. The only later the diatom sediments only will be settled in the down. So if you see the above acid is there, below the diatom is sedimented. So once this process is done, so now diatom is ready to enumerate. But how we can enumerate? So it is with acid, and we cannot access it clearly. So what we will do? We will do the multiple time centrifugation. So this sample we will put it in a falcon tube like this. So like this we will just put it in a falcon tube. Then later we will centrifuge some 4 to 5 times repeatedly. So to remove the acid. So every time we will centrifuge and we will discard the water. Then later again we will collect the pellet. We will add some more distilled water. Like that we will do. And later once the process will be done, so we will be ended up like something like this. So our diatom material will be settled in the down. Then only a little amount of clear water. It's a distilled water. So now this is the end product which we got. So this sample. So now we have to make the slides for the the microscopical study. So what we will do, we will take that sample and we will just coat it on a cover slip. So here you can see we will add that water in this above of the cover slip. Then we will add 1 drop of sample in this. Then we will mix it and we will keep it for the overnight drying. So later what it will happen, the datum will be evenly spreaded everywhere and it will be settled in the cover slips. So this cover slip, what we will do, we will fix with the some datum mountant. So there are so many different mountains are there. So we are using Nefrax mountain. So why we are using the Nefrax mountain? The refractive index of the mountain is very less. So we can see very clearly whatever datum we are going to see, that silica silver. So that is the thing. Then later, once it dried, the next process will be, so we will be heating with the mountain and we will made some slide like this. So if you see, we have till now we have collected some 3000 and 3200 datum sample from all over the India. When Karthik sir gave talk, you might saw that Indian map with the data point. So we have a sample from all over the India. So majorly we are focusing on the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. So these both are the one of the these both are the very important biodiversity hotspot. So there is so much diversity in it. So we are studying diatoms also. So I am doing the water quality study of the diatom. So can we relate the water quality and the diatom? Is there any relationship, and how diatom is working in a community level in a river? So that is what I am studying. So till now, as per I seen from the diatom from the Western Ghats, so you will not believe that more than 40-50% of the diatom which you are getting, that is new to science, and also they are endemic to our Western Ghats region. So that is why they have a very unique role in our area, and they are the primary producers also. So we are just now, so in last 3 year 4 year time only we collected so many samples, and we are working in different aspects. So this is what the permanent slide making once. So this process is done. So once the slide is ready, we will be seeing under the microscopy and the further thing we will do. So now this is the overall process. So how we can collect the datum and how we can boil it, then what we have to do next step, and we have to make the final slide. So I'm showing here, it is the I'm just showing the smaller amount. So we have a fume hood like this, and inside we can boil some 6 to 8 sample in at a time, and we will boil over here. This is fume hood. Okay, this is the setup for the, this is the setup to boil the acid, because once we boil the sample in outside, the fumes will come and it is carcinogenic. So we have to do it properly inside the closed environment. So this is the thing. So once the slide is ready, so next where we will go, this is what our microscopy room. So next what we will do, I will show you some other thing. I will show you the culturing room, then I will show you the datum collection. Later we will go to the microscopical study. So please bear with me. I will go to the next room in a minute. So now you are seeing our wet lab. This is what our wet lab, where we are working in so many different aspects. We have a PCR over here. We will do the PCR and all. And now I will show you the datum collection of Agarkar Research Institute. So this is what the datum collection what we have. So here what we made, we collected datum from almost some 3,200. So here you can see 3,200 sites. Every individual site we have collected the datum. And what we are doing here, we are making a herbarium kind of structure. So once we collect the datum sample, first we will take the not cleaned sample. So direct sample from the environment, we will store it in this 5 ml vial. Then this is the before process. Then later what we will do, sorry, this is the original. This is the process sample. So you can see in this 5 ml vial, the below that white color powdery thing, that is the diatom. So you will not trust that. If we put a single drop in a slide, we will have that thousands and thousands of diatom. They are like so many are there. So this will be, so since diatom is made up of silica, so you just imagine this collection, whatever we made, this will be available for next some 1,000 year, 2,000 year. So that is why we collected this all sample from all over the India, and we have a specific database for this. We entered each and everything in a data sheet with whom collected, where he collected, what is the lat long, and what is the site details, like how while collecting how it was, that everything. So this is what the structure. So once we finish that process, we will transfer the sample to here, and this is the backup. Like, so the original sample also, why we are taking the original? So if the process sample is missed or broken or something happened, so if somebody will do the taxonomic study, they would have know that what is the epitype, paratype, holotype, that thing and all. So that kind of time, so when material is lost, so this material, if it is lost by any chance, so that time what we can do, we can take the sample from the original and again we can boil. So in this also there is a lot of diatom. We can take a single drop of sample and we can put it in we can boil it again, and later we can make the slide. So this is for the backup process. So this is done. So next we will go to the culturing room. Just a minute, I will go inside and I will. So now you are seeing the culturing facility of our ARI botany department. So this is the inoculation room. So I will enter inside this. Yeah. So this is the entire collection and the entire cultural things of that plants. So plants also there. So here this entire rack is for diatom. So we have almost more than 100 different samples of diatom in a pure culture. So what we will do? So I will show you the culture. So what you will, once we collect the sample from the environment, Neha is doing this study. So what she will do, she will collect she will pick only single cell of the diatom, and she will put it in a like this small plates. Then she will just to maximize the amount. First she will, for example, if she is making for 100 ml, then 100 ml become 500 ml, then it will become 1000 ml, like that. We are just trying to upscale it. So mostly we will use the WC media, BBM media, combo media, like that. There is specific diatom media also there. So we are using that medias and we are just mass producing the diatom. So why we are producing the mass diatom means, like, so as Karthik sir told before, so diatoms will be used in so many different perspective. Like people are taking bioethanol and that cod liver oil that is coming from diatom. Then pigment, they can separate it and they can do some coloration things they can separate. And in the entire body of the diatom, there is 70% of 70% of the body mass is of the lipid only. So whatever things we can do related to the lipid study, so we can study the diatom and we can do. So you can see here very clear culture of diatom. So if we put one drop of culture inside that, one drop of this culture in the slide, and if you see, you can see the very clear monoculture of the diatom. For example, we would have studied the bacteria, so we know that colony, no. So if we take only one colony, and if we see under the microscopy, we will be seeing, for example, some cockeye shaped bacteria. It will be everywhere, like only cockeye shape, like very beautifully. So here, the same way, datum also will be there in the culture. So, and the datum growing is very difficult. So now only we are standardizing the thing, and we are using in different composition, different silica, then 1x, 2x, like that. So now we came almost to this position. So this is what the cultural thing. So now I will go back to my lab, and next we will see the microscopy thing. Give me some 2 minutes. Okay. So is there any doubt as per till now? Yeah.
Nothing yet.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. I will go there, and I will just we will do the microscopical survey. Yeah, we are back. So this is what our microscopy room. So we named every individual microscopy as one name. So this is Paul. So Paul is one of the biggest scientists in diatom research. So we put this as Paul. This is Gandhi, and this is another one microscopy. So now we are going to see that all diatom, that enumeration, and the next session will happen in Gandhi microscopy. And I will just set the slide, and I will connect that. I will just transfer my video to there. Give me a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. So am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. Okay. So now we are in a microscopy, and we are in a microscopy system. So now what we will do here? So I will give some small introduction about how diatom morphology will be, and how we can identify them. So still our topic is on diatom identification also. So here I would like to introduce you one website which is very good datum website, that is Datums of North America. So still in India we don't have such website, but that Datums of North America. So you know that how Europe and American people are so forward from ours. So we are in a baseline data. So now we are preparing the baseline data only for our Indian datums. So they went little forward. So now most of the thing like whatever literature till now available, we will be mostly seeing them only, like Europe study, North America study, Australian study, like that only. So I would suggest, like, if you want to study the diatom, if you want to see how they will look, how morphologically you can see. So this is the very good starter pack, the diatoms of North America. So there, every details about diatom will be it's written. So let me share my screen to that window. Um, yeah. So now, is it visible? My screen, diatoms of North America website. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So here, so the website name is diatoms.org. If you go there, you can see all information about diatoms. So, like, for example, if you are studying what is diatom, so we can go here and we can see, like, so what is diatom, so why should we care. So diatom turns energy into sunlight, and it is also like, see, so as Karthik sir would have told, if you take 4 breath, that would have in the last breath will be coming from diatom, but it's old data. So now if you take 2 breath, no, the one of the breath is coming exclusively from diatom. So here, as you see, it is the reason for 50% of the air which we breathe, and they are the primary producers. So this is what all the information regarding to diatom, like how big are diatom, where they live, so how they will show the climate change, so where and all, so how we can culture that thing and all, everything will be available in this website. So now here, still we are discussing about the morphology of diatom. So let us go to the morphology section. So here, if you see, the different types of diatom, it will be given in a very clear way. So this is the, I would hardly suggest you, if you are doing diatom study, so you can truly refer this. So this website is made by very well known peers only. So okay, let us go to the morphological structure of diatom. So generally, if you see, there is a, I'm coming from the top to bottom, like section by section. So there are, there is a two major ecosystems are there for diatom. So one is freshwater environment, another one is marine environment. Okay. So freshwater environment diatom. So which one is first? If you ask, it is the marine environment, marine diatom. So marine diatoms only, eventually they just transfer from the marine environment to the freshwater environment, and they just occupied the space wherever they can live. They just adapted very well. So diatom is that diatoms will be living in the two major ecosystem. One is fresh and marine. Okay. So now that is there. Okay, fine. So morphologically, how many variety are there in the diatom? If we talk about that, so diatom will be in two major classification will come. If we see diatom, there is a two major classification. One is centric diatom and another one is pennate diatom. Okay. So here, if you see, so this one, the centric, which where I am showing my cursor. So this centric type is one of the group, and the rest of this here, this is the subclassification. There is 4, 8, 9 classification are there, but majorly this everything in a vague way, if we say like in a bigger picture. So one is pennate, that will be looking like this elongated structure. So if you see other than centric, it will be elongated somewhat. So this is that centric, and another one is pennate diatoms. Okay, fine. So now this is the major two classification. So if you go little inside, if we break down a little bit, so diatoms is made up of so many different features, we can say. So the major feature is the raphe. So if you see in these pictures, in every datum picture, there is a line is running in the middle. Will you able to see that? Yeah. So this line, this is called RAFE, and here some small vertically some lines are running in everywhere. That is called striae. So let's go to the glossary section. I will show you everything very clearly. So if you are studying the datum majorly, if you see to the glossary, so whatever terminology we are going to use in a datum study, so they just gave example for everything. So now first we will see the RAFE. What is RAFE? Okay, so here it is. So RAFE. So I'm talking about RAFE now. So this RAFE in the middle line, the cursor which is the point mark which is showing. So this is called RAFE. Okay. So this RAFE. So if you ask what is the use of the RAFE, RAFE is used as the motility organ. So diatoms are using this RAFE as a motility organ. So what they will do, they will produce some polysaccharide kind of, some mucilage kind of things. They will just put it outside in the environment. By the force, they will be move forward or back like that. For the motility, people are studying RAFE system. So this is the one of the major feature of the datum. So this RAFE we have to see. And another one is striae. Let's go to the striae. Okay. Yeah. So here, so these all are the scanning electron microscopy pictures. So now, before time, what our people did, they just studied everything from the light microscopy, and they just draw that every individual datum, and they just made a taxonomic study. But now we are in advancement. There is so many different type of microscopy came. SEM scanning electron microscopy is there. Transmission electron microscopy is there. Then so much thing are there. So now here we will be mostly studying with the light microscopy. So in the light microscopy, that is we are using that DIC microscopy. DIC means differential interference contrast. So as I told, I showed that Paul and Gandhi microscopes. So these are the DIC microscopes. So this DIC microscope we are using for this datum study. Why we are using this means, so this DIC is very well known for the different contrast. So if the sample is transparent, some kind of like glass, like diatoms or like bacteria, or you take fungi, like which is transparent. So like some small aquatic animals also, they will be very transparent. So that kind of things and all we can study under this DIC microscopy. So what they will do, they will allow the light that there is one specific part called conar. In after above the objective microscope, objective lenses, there is one specific part called conar. So that it will do so many reflection and it will show better contrast. So since diatoms is made up of these small characteristics like this striae. So here what you are seeing in this last picture. So this every individual dot is called areolae. So the collection of areolae will be called as striae. So this is the major characteristics of diatom. So in every diatom, this RAFE and striae, these characters are they are present, must be they are presenting, and even diatoms are classified based on this also. So based on the presence of RAFE, diatoms are classified into so many different types. So which is we are going to see. So this is what RAFE, you have to remember this. So this RAFE will be sometime like here if you see, there is 3 different lines running in the every individual section. So that is called by a multi-seriate striae. Something, there is so many different terminologies are there. So that now we will see. So the striae and RAFE are the major characteristics. So now we will go to the morphology. Okay. And in striae and RAFE also, I will go back once again. So if we see this middle, so where this ending is happening, no? So in the second picture, so here that the RAFE ending in the middle or in the start of the wall, that everything counts. Like if it is hook shape or teardrop shape. So here you can see it as a teardrop shape. So there is so many things like that. So that like will go very depth. So if I say like it will be very hard to understand now. So I will just say, I will just give us some introduction only. So this every detail count, even in the middle, what is the length of the stray? In 10 micrometer, how many strays are running in the diagram? So this and all morphological thing we have to observe. So now we will go to the morphology. So as I said, the raphe, based on the raphe presence, diatoms are classified into many different types. So here we can see centric diatom don't have a raphe system, and they will be mostly free floating diatom. So they will also called as planktonic diatoms. They will be just free floating in the river, like in the upper surface, where light can penetrate. They will be free floating, and some diatom have some attachment with some. It depends on the generic character. Okay, so okay, so now based on the raphe, so is there any doubt till now? Like, am I going very fast? Like,
No, sir. No, sir.
you
You
understand?
understand carefully.
Okay, so feel free to interrupt me if you don't understand anything. Okay, yeah. So now we will see, like, based on the raphe presence, we will see different type of diatom. So here this is A raphe diatom. So A rapid, if we dissect the name, A means absent, A rapid, there is no raphe. So the rapheless diatom and all, so they separated this as one group, that is A rapid diatom. And based on the wall structure also, people are giving the name to diatoms. So this kind of structure, this inosioid structure, people will say this is inosioid structure. So this structure of diatom and all, so whatever diatoms in this group, they will be called as inosioid diatom. So let's go inside the Airapid once. So if you see, there is, so here what happened? So here it is mentioned 23 genera. So which is not, so they, whatever they observed in the North America, they just gave only those diatoms. But in the entire world, if you see, scientists are estimating that more than 2 lakh species of diatoms are living all over the world. So more, even more than that also there in only freshwater environment. I'm saying, if you see in the marine environment, that is the unending story. Hardly what we studied in the marine environment. So we studied mostly like not even 9% of the marine diatoms. Still, so much diatoms are there. There are so many things has to be studied. So they are very diverse. So you just imagine in freshwater only this many different type of species are there. Then the entire world is covered by 70% of the water. Then that everything, that is 70% of the water is the environment. That is the substrate, like what we can say. That is where diatom can live. So they will be. You just imagine how much diverse they will be. So that is there. So here, if you see, there is so many different genera is there. So let us go like inside this Taurocera to see. Okay. So there is a class. So this everything will comes under Bacillariophyceae, the entire diatom group. Then there's a class, there is order, there is family, everything. So if you see, so inside that genus, if you see in the website only, so they will be given everything very clearly, the guide. So how you can identify this is as monoraphid. So in monoraphid, what is the genus? Like how many striae? What is the pore fill? So if you see in the both poles, the number is denoting 2. That is called the apical pore fill. That is nothing. It is just a pore which will be held for motility maybe. So this kind of structure, they just gave everything clearly, like how the walls looks like. And if you see in the SEM image in the middle, there is no striae. Sorry, there is no raphe. So that is why they called Airapid. So we will go back. So these are the some of the genera of Airapid. So next is Inosioid. So as I said, so these all are different types of Inosia. See, you just see in the Inosia genus only there is 53 different species are there in the North America only. But in India, unfortunately, we don't have we don't have anything like this. But we are in a aim that in next 3 years we will be coming out with some website like this of like datums of Indian subcontinent. Also, we are making so many different types of book. So we are making one book now, like that is called Datums of Myristica swamps. So Myristica swamps are some unique ecosystem where you might saw in Karthik sir's slide. He also told that. So there, whatever the item we got, that we are making as one book. There is so many different types of books are there, like Iconographia Datamalogica, Bibliotheca Datamalogica, like that. So we are making one Bibliotheca Datamalogica. So soon you will be expecting that you can expect that in book every bookshop. So there you can, that will be very helpful to identify the upcoming datamist. So we are making that. So this is Inoceide. The next step will be symmetrical biography. So here if you see, so this diatoms and all, let me go to the description. See, so if you see the symmetrical biraphid, in the diatoms are very symmetric. It is bilaterally symmetric. So if you cut the diatom into two pieces in the from vertically also, in horizontally also, the equal piece we will get. The 4 different pieces will be equally we can get. So that is why it is symmetrical biraphid. That is symmetric if you dissect the name, and biraphid is it has both side raphe. Let's see in the glossary, then it will be very easily understandable. Where does that be? This is biraphid. So here there is no image. So as Karthik sir mentioned before, diatoms, you just consider diatom as some soap box. So if you separate the soap box, in both soap box, if there is raphe in the front and the back, both silica structure, if they are together, we will say as frustule. If we separate that, we will say as wall. So in the both side of the wall, if there is raphe, that line which is running in the middle, if it is both side, we will say that as symmetrical biraphid. So don't worry about anything. If you are getting like something difficult to understand, we are going to see everything under the microscopy. So I'm just giving some introduction. So before entering that is why. So this is symmetrical biraphid. Okay. Then next is monoraphid. So in the name itself, there is a explanation. So as I told, if we separate the soap box, in one side of the soap box only raphe is there, in the other side it is absent. If you see these images, in the first one there is a raphe in one side, in back side there is no raphe. So that is why that is called monoraphid. And another one, this is asymmetrical biraphid. Sorry, this is asymmetrical biraphid. If you see, so this diatom, if we cut in the middle horizontally and vertically also, they will be not coming as the clear pieces. They will be not equally spreaded. So it will be asymmetric. If you see, no, if you see, we can clearly see that it is not symmetric. It is asymmetric. So that is why, and also these diatoms have both side raphe also, and they are asymmetric. So it is little opposite to the symmetric. So here symmetric diatoms are there. So this is asymmetric. Okay. So next one is epithemioid. So this kind of structure is called epithemioid. So what happened in this epithemioid? Raphe is present, but raphe is present. So if you see in this diatom, in symmetrical biraphid and all, raphe is present only in the middle of the diatom. So it is running in the middle. But if you see in this epithemioid diatom, it is running from the one end to another end. So if you see in the end, it is starting here. So in the end, it is starting from one side and it is going to another side, and again it is going to another side. It is like some arch kind of. So inside this structure, raphe is running. So that is why these kind of diatoms is called epithemioid. And another one structure is nicheoid. This datum will be looking like this nicheoid shape. So this datum also have raphe, but the raphe will be present in the one margin of the datum. So if you see from the bottom to top, so there is some structure called keel. So I will show you what is that keel. Keel or fibulae, they will be called in both. Just a minute. Where is it? Yeah, it's here. Here it is. So in the epithemioid, epithemioid datum, as I told, see this in the first picture, the cursor mark which they showed, the pointer. So here where they show, no, inside that it is like some canal system. So we have the canal system, no, for the water distribution. So that kind of structure is there. So inside that canal, the raphe is running. So that is why it is called epithemia datum. Okay. So that is one of the character of that epithemia. And nichia also. So nichia also inside that canal is running. And another one type is surrealoid. So this datum, these are the biggest datum we can say. So I think somebody asked like, can we see by naked eyes of these datums? So some species of surreal are there. So that will be like very bigger, and you can, even if you try to focus, and if you take it in the hand like very clearly, if you see like with a magnifying glass, something like that, in a lesser magnification also you can see this data. So this kind of surreal. So this is what this is another one group. Okay, so this is what the major 9 groups of the datum. Okay, so this is how they are classified, this is how we are studying. So now people are, so this all study is dependent on the morphological way. So we are seeing all the morphological character and we are studying this datum. So now people are, so before time what happened, there is a force fitting of taxonomy was there, because there is that time there is no SEM, there is no molecular study. So people used to clump every datum in a single genus, but now people are studying more, people are separating every individual genus. The datum systematics what we are working, so it is far better than before some 10 years. So now you will not trust that in every day there is at least some 2 new species of datum is discovering from all over the world. Even in India, we only discovered more than 5 new genus of datum from our Indian subcontinent only. So from our lab, we almost published around some 30-35 new datums to the science. So the even so we are our institute in Pune. So in Pune, the most polluted river we can say that is the Pavana river. So there is a 2 major rivers there here. One is Mula river and Pavana river. So what we did when I was studying that that it's, we can say it is almost a kind of ditch only, because the entire Pune waste, everything is going to mix in the river only. Then you just imagine how much pollution will be there in the river. So that river, we collected some datum sample, we just studied that. So what we found there, we found a new species of datum. So you can go, you can check in the Google, that is Simbella pavanensis, we published in 2019. So Karthik sir also put it in a slide where you can see so much plastic bag pollution. So there also we describe one new species. In the opposite way, if you see very clear oligotrophic, like Mula river, that Mula river basin, there also day before yesterday we published on new species. So this is what the scenario in India. So we are just making the baseline data. So let's see, like we are doing in different aspects. We are trying to develop some books which will be easily useful for upcoming datamists. So this is the scenario. Okay, so this is done. So now we can move to the microscopy session. So till now, is there any doubt for anybody? Hello. Is there
Is there any doubt?
Yeah.
Diatom cleaning condition you have to allow in boiling conditions of acid, like nitric acid or hydrochloric acid. How is it possible to allow in acid for boiling conditions? If there is closed or in open conditions, how is it possible to allow in acid in boiling?
So what happened? Diatom is made up of silica. So it is the silical cell wall, right? Silica means it is a glass. So glass has very high melting point. So it will be go around from 600, 700 melting point. But while boiling, what our temperature will reach, it will reach almost some 200 and 350 degrees Celsius only. So in that kind of situation, what we will do, hardly we can boil up to some 2 or 3 hours. So later once it became, so that time obviously there's going to be some damage. So we are not going that much heat, so there is no need to worry about the damage of the atom. So mostly we are stopping in 350 degrees Celsius only. So datum, that silica won't degrade or it won't break. So we can boil it for the purpose.
Sir, how can you identify the diatom? Is there any criteria to choose the area, or you just randomly collect the specimen and then after getting in lab then identify?
No, we are not randomly collecting the atoms. So as we said before, we are mostly focusing on the biodiversity hotspot. So in India, we have two biodiversity hotspot. One is Western Ghats, other one is Northeast India. So recently we got some two different project in a two different aspect. So I am working on the Western Ghats region. So mostly in the peninsular India, we will be collecting in the Western Ghats region. So if we go to the Northeast, that is like documenting the datum from the Northeast. So they are collecting from that 6 sister states like Meghalaya, Manipura, there and all they are collecting and they are doing study. So randomly we are not collecting. So there is some objective we have everywhere. So we will be collecting from pollutant river or oligotrophic river, something like that. So it depends on the objective.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So is it very difficult to understand diatom? Like you are getting what I'm trying to say?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. So now we will go to the microscopy session. I will share you the screen. Just wait a moment. Yeah. So is my screen is visible? Olympus CellSense software.
Yes, sir.
So I showed that microscopy before only. So that microscopy is the major weapon what we are using. So in that, so what we did, so to show you, I just kept some of the diatom sample. Okay, so now I just kept in the 100x and I just set the lighting. So now you are seeing some datum from the Northeast India. So as I told earlier, there is one group called Inosia. So here you can see that Inosia. This is what this species called Inosia. If you see, it has the lines. So this is called striae. This every individual line is called striae. So this is one group of diatom. So we will go some next one. See, as I told, this is the symmetrical biraphe diatom. So if you see, middle raphe is there, striae, and if you cut this diatom vertically and horizontally also, we will get the equal piece. See here. So in the middle, this is raphe and this is striae. and even we can focus on the back side of the wall also. So I will say how. You just consider, so we will take the soap box example only. So what we will do, we will just throw the soap box into the field. If the soap box will fall like this, so if the upper surface where we open the soap box, no, that upper surface, that will be called as wall view. If the soap box is vertically fallen, um, 1 minute. So I will show you something. See, this is one diagram. So it is not fallen in a straight way. It fall little vertically. It is like when we sleeping. No, we if our entire body will be towards the above, what we can say, towards above. No, if we lie flat, we will be seeing above, right? So if we do little flip, so we will be in the flip, right? So our one hand will be one side and another hand will be downside. The same way this diagram also fall. So if you see in the side, you can see the wall view. We will say this as girdle view. So here you can see most of the diagram will be fall like that. I will show you. See, this is one of the girdle view, and see, this is the wall view of the same diagram. See, this diagram is called acanthidium. This is the wall view of the diagram. So it fallen in a proper way. If it is fallen in a vertical little bit in one sided, that will be looking like this. Looking like this. This is what girdle view. Okay. So now we will see different type of genera. See, this is one kind of diagram which is called Navicula abducta. This is Navicula. You just see how fine the striae is. It's very straight. And so this area, so where I'm zooming, so this is where the raphe is starting. So this raphe is hook shape or teardrop shape. Like is it extending on the wall frustule or it is ending in the wall view only? So that every individual thing is count. So here you can see that 20 micron scale. So now I kept in 100x. So the scale bar is changed. So this scale bar, so if you take this 10 micrometer and keep it here, and if we count the striae number, so for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, something like that. In 10 micrometer, how many striae is coming? That is the morphometric data of the diagram. So based on that only, we will differentiate every individual piece of diagram, the length of the diagram, the width of the diagram, and the striae density. That is, the three thing will go to the morphological data. So we will go to the next diagram. See, this is one different diagram. In the last diagram which we see previously, that and this will be looking similar for you, maybe if you see first time, but they both are not similar. If you see, it is very sharp, and I will show that another one diagrams also. See, you might thought this diagram and this diagram might have same, right? They are looking almost same, but which is not true. If you see, you just see in the middle how the raphe is running. So near to the raphe there is a space, and the end of the diagram how sharp it is, and you see the striae pattern. So they are starting little radiate in the above, in the middle they are getting like little space, then again it is getting radiate, right? But if you see the previous diagram, see, so here in the middle how it is. So if you see in the middle, see this striae. So that is how the taxonomy works. So this and that is completely different species, but if this both is present in the same sample, it will be very difficult to separate, right? So we will see another one different species. See, this is one symmetrical biraphed. And here we have some broken wall of airafid. There is no raphe in this. Only striae is there. We'll see some better one. See here. So it is broken, but still we can see the characteristics. So this is airafid. See how the striae, and why we are using DIC for this only. If you see, we can see every individual areolae very clearly. So this is what the specialty of this DIC microscopy for the study. So this is airafid diatom. And see another one, inosioid. So this is Surreal diatom. So I told you that bigger diatom. So this is one of the Surreal diatom. So this diatom have in the marginal area there is raphe, but it will be not visible in a light microscopy. If we go to SEM, it will be visible. And here I will show that upper wall and down wall also, the both side of the wall. I'm just focusing it. So now I'm seeing again one wall of diatom. So this is the back side of the diatom. This is the back side. Yeah. Then we will go to next one. See this one. So it is a monoraphe diatom. See, I'm focusing here. So here you can see the raphe system, right? So raphe is here in the middle. But in the back wall, there is no raphe. It is only a multiple areolae with striae there. This is monoraphe. Yeah, this is, see here, I found on Nitzschia. See, this is what Nitzschia, another one different type of species. If you see this dot thing is there, no, in the marginal area, this is called keel. I showed you that keel. So this is works like some kind of canal. So inside the canal, the raphe is running in the middle. So here it will be not visible. If we see in the scanning electron microscopy, we can very beautifully see like very well organized canal system are there here. So yeah, see this is another one monoraphe diatom. So it has this kind of horseshoe structure. See back side you can see raphe. This side there is no raphe. Yeah, here you can see both the girdle view and wall view. This diatom is very bigger. So if you see 10 micron, it will be almost some 30 micron, more than 30. So here, see, this is like straight, it is little fallen like vertical. The wall view and the girdle view together. Okay, so now we saw diatom in the microscopy. So now you might ask like, what is next? So next thing will be, so what will happen? We will be enumerate these diatom. So what we will do, if it is the taxonomic study, we will just count every individual diatom up to some. So we will not count in taxonomy study. So taxonomical study, what we need, we just need what kind of community are there. So what we will do, we will capture some 600 diatom or some 600 picture, we can say some 600, 700 picture we will say, and we will make some plate out of it. Like we will arrange every datum in that. I will show you that how the plates looks like also. So for example, now here there are two diatoms. So when we make picture, we will just keep it this diatom in the middle. We will capture, we will focus it, we will capture on picture. Then again, we will capture next one. Like that, we will capture multiple images. Then we will make the plate. So what happened here? Diatom will go to the size reduction. So there is a two way of diatom growth is there. One is sexual reproduction, another one is asexual reproduction. So one bigger diatom, so as I said, it is like soap box. So if you open the soap box, inside the every individual part of the soap box, the another one small soap box will come like this. So I will, so will you able to see me, see my hand? So it will be one wall, and another one wall will be like this, and it will be like separated. Then again it will go to the smaller size, smaller size, smaller size, like that. In one point of time, that smaller diatom will no more cannot do the asexual protection. So that time what it will do, it will do the sexual reproduction. So the oxospore will come from the one diatom, then gamete, that thing and all will happen. Then again one bigger silica diatom, one bigger wall of diatom will be produced individually. Even you can, if you put that diatom culturing and the multiple stage of diatom growth, if you put, you can see lot of paper on it, and there they will be clearly capturing the every moment, how every individual part of diatom is growing, like raphe, how the silica is depositing, and how they are going to bigger and bigger, like that. So that is the thing. So this is for, so that is the thing. So datum is going to the size reduction. So we don't know if we see any one genus, if we want to study, we don't know what is the size range. So I will show you the plates. I will, for a moment, I will stop sharing this. So now again, we will go to the Diatoms of US website. Yeah. So here I will go to one species, individual species, then you will understand a little better. For example, we will go to Luticola. Okay, so here they found 6 different Luticola species. Luticola is one of the genus. So here I told no, so diatom will go to the size reduction. So as you see here, this is the smallest wall of the same species. In the first image, it is bigger one, and the last one is small one. So they will go to the size reduction. So bigger wall, then another small wall, then another one, another one. So they went like that. So now if I want to study this species, if I take only one image of this diatom, so it is not at all possible to study that. So that is not the proper way also. So what we have to do, we have to cover the entire realm. So how much size range they are going. So that we have to find. So for that, what we have to do, we have to take the multiple picture of the same genus. So like this, we have to take multiple picture. Then we have to crop it by using some Photoshop. There is so many different softwares are there. So mostly we will be using Inkscape, GIMP, and Photoshop. So in our India, so whatever study we are doing, we are using that majorly the GIMP software. So that is the free software, you can use it. If you want, you just make a note of it. That is GIMP, that is one software, and another one is Inkscape. This Inkscape is some kind of a Corel Draw software. So here what you can do, you can crop the image, you can keep there, you can align that everything, and you can see how the size range is going. So this is how the plate will looks like once we made the final plate to study. So later, after the image thing we capture, So this is the next step. It will we have to arrange like this. And if you see here, if you see in the description or above, so as I told, what is the length range, what is the width range, what is the striae in 10 micrometer. So this morphometric data and all we have to extract from the images. So we have to keep our scale bar and we have to count this. Then we have to measure our striae. So is there any doubt till now? Like, feel free to ask me.
As you mentioned, it's a unicellular organism.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you do the DNA sequencing, and how do you fix this animal, and like for the larger vertebrates we have holotype, paratype, all those stuffs. And how do you do that, and how do you submit it? And other than that, like in the larger vertebrates, it's comparatively easy to tell about the evolution, etc. So there, like juvenile might be looking different, and the adult might be looking different. And from family to family or genus to genus, how do you say it? Please, can you put a light on this?
So what happened? So datum is also one of the microalgae. So what we are doing, so as I told, for the molecular study, we have to separate a single cell of the datum. As I showed that in the image, we will take only single cell of the datum by using that small pastel pipette kind of. We have some glass material. So you just imagine if you make a pipe in a 1 micron. So that pipe, what we will do, we will just break the pipe that is small needle kind of. We will just attach with some sucking pipe. Then we will pick only single datum, and we will put in directly. If you want to do molecular study, we will just sequence it. We will do PCR. There is so many different type of specific genes, marker genes are there for datum, like 16x, like that, SSL, RBL, like that. So many things are there. So we will particularly aim that region, and we will multiply. So some region will be common to all datum, that will be present in all of the datum. So it is already studied and it is there in the NCBI website. So there we can extract that thing. So later, so that is the one way of doing molecular study. And otherwise, the second thing, what we will do, we will, as I told, we will produce in a mass number. The one cell we will pick and we will put it in a culture, then we will grow it, then we will wait for some 2 week, 3 week. So depends on the multiplication time. So some datum will grow some 2 months, some datum will grow in 2 hours. It's something like that. We will enlarge the culture, then later we will separate there's something called Kelex. That's a glass ball kind of that material. And sometimes we will use that small glass balls also. We will do centrifugation. We will just break the silica wall, and only that internal material we will separate it. Then we will do the molecular study. So that is one way of doing molecular study. Yeah.
Paratype, holotype too.
Sorry.
The paratype and holotype specimens we usually fix invertebrates and maybe arthropoda, etc.
There what happened, we will be, for example, if you take one small animal, we will be putting in one jar, we will dissect that everything, and we will tell the every individual part description and all we will write now. The same way for datum also, it will be a holotype slide. So since datums are microscopic, we have a slide. So if you see, there is one person called H.P. Gandhi who was working in Western Ghats region. So he discovered almost 350 new datum from the Western Ghats region only. So he later, so he's not there now. In 2000 he died. So from there only our Karthik sir got inspired. He went to his home. He talked to H.P. Gandhi. So that time in India there is no datum study. He is the only person who did datum study like properly. So still we have the H.P. Gandhi slide in our herbarium. We have all of his sample. We imported from there and we kept it here. So that will be holotypic slide. So there will be red mark in the, so we will be mark that specific region, and we will be describe that that one individual diatom wall. So that will be the holotypic specimen. Yeah, that is how it will work. So it will be everything in a microscope, it will be everything in a slide. Yeah. Okay, so any more questions? So mostly, if you see, there is a scientist, Karthik sir mentioned that Ehrenberg and some kind of name you might have heard. So Ehrenberg is the HB Gandhi for the entire world. So he collected there is one big collection of diatoms, slide itself there in the so many that natural history museum there and all. So they just maintain that like almost some 100 year, 200 year. So we can backtrack everything. That is the advantage of datum. So since datum is made up of silica, so if some datum will grow before some 2000 year, 3000 year in one particular pond, later they sedimented also. So silica is never going to be degraded for so long. So we collected some sample from the cars. Even Karthik sir showed that in the PPT. So that core sample we will dissect. For example, every 5 meter is some 1000 year. For example, if you take, so we have a backtrack of everything, no? So how the climate change happen. So if any climate change is happen, diatom obviously is going to react. So that climate change, all the record will be there in the core sample. So if we predict our past, for example, say every 1000 year there is some cold age in the earth. I'm just saying for just sake. So there's some cold age in the earth. Then we can predict no. So in the future, okay. So in next 1000 year there's gonna be a cold age in earth. So we have to equip ourselves. We have to see that in a futuristic way. So that is how people are studying in a paleolimnological study the way. So that is how it works. So again, I will go to the website window. Sorry, to the microscopy. Just a minute. So yeah, this is the slide what we looked. I think now you might have little idea about like how we can do datum study. Okay, so till now I told about the taxonomic way, but what if we study ecology? So ecological study is something different. We have some different approach. So what we will do? So for example, we will take my objective. I'm studying diatoms from the Western Ghats region. So I'm seeing, is there any relationship between water quality and the diatom? So what we will do, we will go to the one river site. There we will collect the diatom, and where we are collecting the diatom, the same place we will analyze the multiple parameters like pH, nitrate, phosphate, conductivity, and what is the silica composition. This every different parameter we will collect. Then later what we will do, so we will make the slide like this, and in every individual slide we will count 600 individual datum. So you might have asked like why you have to count only 600, why not 100, why not 200? So there is something called species saturation curve in the ecology, whatever study if you take. So we have to have a defined study area. It should be randomly sampled. It should be randomly sampled, and there should be some study unit, that everything, right? The same way, why we are counting 600 datum means, for example, I'm taking one slide, I'm counting 100 datum. So in the 100 datum, I will just stop sharing this. In the 100 item, if you take, I'm counting 100 items. I'm getting some 20 different species of diatom. Okay. So again, I'm doing another one study. I'm counting now 200 diatom. So now I'm getting some 10 more species are adding. So it will be now 30 species of datum. So like that, what people did before, they just counted every individual sample, multiple sample in multiple time, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, like that they counted. So when 600, if we count from one sample, there will be no addition of any species. So if we plot that in a curve, so if you plot that in a curve, it will, so 100, it will be increasing. Then in one point of time, it will be flat. So if we count 600 datum, there will be no addition of species. That means we sample that everything clearly. So that is why here our sampling unit is 600 datum. So every individual datum sample for ecological study, what we will do, we will count 600 datum. We will just make a count sheet, and so we will draw every individual datum, and we will put count. Okay, this species I found. If we know the genus name or species name, we will write the name. We will put one number, then what is the image number. So like that, we have counted almost some 300 different sampled item. So I counted that. I just kept in that for my study, for my PhD. Like that, every person is doing the same. For paleolimnological study, if you are studying the past, the same way. 600 item, there it will work. And they have some different parameter, like depth of the core, size of the core, then age of the core. This thing and all, they will be relating with the datum community. If somebody is studying the lake, like lake water quality, if somebody is studying the river, and one of my colleagues is studying aerophilic datum. So what happened? Datum came from the marine environment to freshwater environment. Later, what they did, they just transferred to the tree or wet wall, some kind of. So there is some lineage, the molecular study are there, like how datums are occupying every individual space, and some datums are there in only cave. So you might, if you see the recently we published datum from the one of the Meghalaya cave. So people are saying cave datum don't need a RAFE system. So most of the cave datum don't have RAFE system. So why is it so? Like there is no light also. How they are surviving, like how they are producing their food. Like that, so many different kind of objective questions will be there. So this is what the overall view. I showed the microscopy also. I think you will be now little aware of like how this datum study is going. So I'm done from the my end. Like if you have any question, like you can feel free to ask. So this is how the datum study.
And as you are studying in the Western Ghats, so like we have within Western Ghats we have like geographical or biogeographical classification as like northern, central, and southern. Like, do you see those patterns in the diatoms too? And I think I've read few papers from Karthik, and along with that, I think in Japan or China, there are a few papers on river restoration, all those stuffs, where by looking at the species of diatoms, they tell the river is healthy or not. From your observation in India, or maybe the papers you are writing, how do you see other animals or the plants like healthy where the diatoms are good?
Yes. So what happened? There is some interesting observation in Western Ghats. So what happened? We are saying the Western Ghats is the endemic region, right? So there is so many endemic frogs there. There is there endemic plants are there. This everything is there, but there is a endemism inside the endemism. So will you take that? So we can separate our Western Ghats into three parts. Like generally, from bottom to if you see the Western Ghats map, from bottom to Palghat Gap, we can say that is one separate section. So that is the southern Western Ghats. If you go little above from Palghat Gap to, there is a river called Kali River in the Karnataka border. So till now, it is the central Western Ghats, we can say. Because I'm just saying the geographical boundary, like some kind of boundary I'm just defining. it is just a hypothesis which I'm working. So after the Kali River, from Kali River to the Tapi River in the Gujarat, we can say that is the northern Western Ghats. Okay. So what I did, so till now for my PhD there is some 400 sample I'm working. In the 400 sample, I just counted hardly some 120 sample I counted. I just enumerate the datum. So what I observed, in the 100 sample, there is a endemism inside the Western Ghats. It's a narrow pocket of endemism is there. So northern Western Ghats, whatever datum species you are getting, it is not present in the central Western Ghats. So in central Western Ghats, whatever you are getting, it is not in the southern Western Ghats. So this kind of so many interesting elements are adding. Like we are working on it. So it is the far way. Like we are studying now. So this kind of observation is there. People even are telling that. So there is so many geological history also there in the Western Ghats. Like geology people will know like how that mass destruction happen, that lava flows happen, then so many things are there. So that kind of different objective we are working. This is what like some kind of interesting thing we found. And even inside the Western Ghats, I told that Myristica swamps are there, no? So Myristica swamps are there in only in India. So for example, you take some 100 kilometer. In the 100 kilometer middle, there is a Myristica swamp. Then outside, we will take some 2 random rivers. Okay. So in the Myristica swamp, whatever datum we are getting, so that is almost some 70% endemic datums are there. They are new to science also. And that 70% of the datum, it is not there in the riverine datum, in the riverine area. Then you just imagine like how this system is working, how it is becoming narrow and narrow, and hardly it is 100 kilometer, no? So what is preventing to the spread of that species? So what barrier it has? Since the waterway, everything is connected, the Myristica swamp, it will be giving lot of water, it will be go and mixes the river area, but some species and all is not present in the river, which is present in the Myristica swamp in one ecoregion. But this kind of so many interesting things are there. But we are looking forward to working on it. We are doing that. Let's see, like in our upcoming publication, you can see like different perspective and all. So the only problem is we don't have the baseline data. So everything we are dependent on the North America and Europe, and now only we are just generating our data. We are getting aware of what kind of data will be there in our peninsular India. So okay, this is what the datum is repeating again and again. Some kind of baseline data only we are making. So we don't have basement. So if we have basement, then we can build some building on it. We can do some molecular study. We can do sequencing. We can produce bioethanol, some kind of. But still, so our aim is to water quality, but we will be ended up in taxonomy. So that is the problem in India. So, but we are working on it. Soon we will be come with a very good website, and we will come with a lot of books. Yeah.
We are speaking about positive impact of my diagram, but it has a negative impact too, right? Like climate change in Ethiopia, due to climate change, it has widely distributed. While eating that water, elephant has died. So, what will be the impact of diatoms in future climate change?
Climate change, yeah, bigger as we know. People are studying climate change. So what happened in the Arctic region and all also, there's a datum in that much freezing condition also, some datum which will live in the cold condition only. So they will be cold loving species like extremophiles. So that datum and all, so because of this climate change, so we are losing that the community which is native for that. So for example, if temperature is increasing, cold species cannot be survived there, no? So it will be directly, obviously it is going to be affect that kind of datum. So there is two school of thought in biogeography also, if you take. So everything is everywhere. Some people are saying everything is everywhere, but some group of people are saying everything is not everywhere. Only environment selects. So if we see in the datum also, datum will be mostly dependent on the environment. In local environment, we can say in a smaller picture. In bigger way, we can say the spatial thing. Like in a local environment, how I am saying, like pH, conductivity, the nutrient change in the water, current flow, this and all happening in the locally, this is also affecting the diatom community. In the same time, like larger picture, if you see the Western Ghats, if you stand in the Kanyakumari, if you see towards the Delhi, if you see in straight way, you can see the two slopes. One is eastern slope, one is western slope. So as we separated in central, southern and northwestern Ghats, I'm saying the another one perspective, western slope and eastern slope. So western slope is getting more temperature and eastern slope is not getting more temperature, and there is a high rainfall in the western slope, there is less rainfall in the eastern slope. Still it is in a some 100 kilo or some 200-300 kilometer range only. Vertically, if you see, only this much kilometer. But still, there's a lot of community change in the diatom. So, in the same, if for example, if we draw one line in between, we will sample here this western slope. We will sample in the eastern slope. If you see, this and this diatom community will be different. So that is what we are trying to find. Obviously, climate change has higher impact on diatom, and it is very good model system to study the climate change also. Yes.
Atoms by monopolizing one diatom.
Sorry.
Certain diatom will be added to that climate, right? It will dominate other diatoms to grow there because it has with the spatial and nutrients also. So it may produce some neurotoxin or some other chemicals which will affect fishes and other organisms also, right? It has a huge impact due to climate change. So what's your thought on it?
Yeah. I told the environment only the reason. So, for example, we will take the pollution. See what happened in our entire river system. Whatever waste we are putting, we are just polluting the river. So this obviously going to affect the diatom community, no? So as I told, some diatom will prefer to grow in the oligotrophic water. Some diatom will prefer to grow in the pollution water only. So they have the mechanism to how to tackle this problem. So obviously, whatever the climate wise, the change also is going to affect the diatom. The man-made things also going to affect the diatom. End of the day, what will happen? Diatom will be replaced, then primary production will be in some problem. So this entire ecosystem is going to be collapsed. So that is what the thing. Like obviously, there's a fight for the diatom only. So they will be fighting like how I can get the food, how I can get the sunlight. Some diatom. So there is a lot of study like substrate level also. What they are doing, they are taking one substrate in so much light where light is available. So that riparian zone, you might have hear that riparian zone. So if one stream is running, both side the trees and all, they will be hiding the sunlight, right? So based on that, some place where is open environment, what kind of diatoms are there? So in the closed environment like riparian zone, what kind of diatoms are there? Like how the blocking of light is affecting the diatom, or any diatom is fighting to come in front to like only I will grow in the sunlight, like that. There's a competition for everything. So that is how the ecosystem work. Like we can say like in the same way everything. How it is working, the same way diatoms also trying to survive in different conditions. Yeah.
Okay, wait, I have this. Sir, if the diatom, what kind of have the reproduction like strategy? They have the reproduction strategy. Like the diatoms are unicellular. I just want to know that if you compare the unicellular and multicellular, so what are the adaptability? Like mostly the multicellular organisms, they have a higher complexity. So climate is changing. Who is more adaptable? Like
But here it will work mostly like all other single cell microorganism only. Like how bacteria is multiplying, the same way it will be happen in the diatoms also. But here the only thing is playing the major role is silica. So diatom has well adaptable mechanism. So what they did, in some point of time, there might have some problem with the production wise, like some competition, there might be something happen. So they just learn the method to deposit the silica in their cell wall. So that is the one of the major mechanism. So based on that only this entire thing is happening. That and all people are studying. That is very deep question, like how it is happening. That and all, like maybe I don't know. I'm just doing the taxonomy study. Still, how much ever I know, I'm just telling. Maybe you can ask this to some people who is working on it. Like I don't know that. Like, I'm very sorry, but still I will refer and I will tell you. So okay, it's fine, no? Shall we call Karthik sir now?
Yes.
Okay, give me a moment. I will just inform him and I will get it.
Hello all. Hope you all enjoyed today's session. And, I hope our fight against Pongal and Sambar won. I think all credit goes to if we won, all credit goes to diatoms, and if you won, all credit goes to MK University's mess, guest house mess. Okay, please, if you have, I hope all your questions and doubts, so you all enjoyed the session. In case if you want to interact more or something like that, please let us know. And my email ID is there with the organizers, so you can take my email ID. You can feel free to contact me anytime. And if anybody is coming towards Pune, please visit our institute, Agarkar Research Institute. I'd be happy to host you all.
Thank you, sir. We are welcoming you for the next session, maybe May.
Definitely.
Yes, sir. we are planning our next workshop in May, sir. We will inform you well in advance.
Sure. No problem. Please.
I want to hope you in person, sir.
Definitely. Looking forward.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for all your efforts, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.